Hi guys, welcome to my video. My name's Teresa and today is October's round of Jurassic TBR. Hi guys, like I said, it's Jurassic TBR time and it's October, the best month of the year because it's fall, it's my birthday month. You can't get any better than that, right? So let's go ahead and talk about the game. Really quickly, I'll give you an overview on how it's played. If you guys want more in-depth rules, regulations, the whole bit, I will link my playlist up above. Basically, the way this is played is I start out here. I have a little character of Ellie Sattler. I roll a 12-sided die, and I move along following the footprints until we escape at the helipad. And each footprint color corresponds to a different prompt. Green is my Mr. TBR cards. Red is my Dress TBR card. White is owned TBR. Yellow is fantasy. Black is thriller. And then I have a special footprint here. If I land on this one, I have to read off my own nonfiction TBR. And the only major rule is to be able to win, I have to roll the exact number to get out. So if I land on this footprint, or anything after that, I have to roll the exact number to get out. If I don't roll that exact number, then I have to go back the number that is rolled on the dice. So say I need a 11 and I roll a 12, I have to go back 12. And then after that, I just keep on going till we get out. No other rules after that because I'm not punishing myself with the game. So that's how she's played. Let's go over last month. September was the nicest this game has ever been to me. And oh my gosh, I needed it. I needed it so bad. September, great reading month. You guys, my game gave me 3 prompts. And with those 3 prompts, I was able to complete my game. I'm so excited. It is rare that I complete my TBR. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. So when it does happen, it's very exciting. So literally, my game gave me 3 prompts and all 3 prompts happened to be a Jurassic TBR card. And like I said, I was able to finish the game. So for the first card I landed on, like I said, Jurassic TBR, I landed on Nick Van Owen, which is To Read a Dark Academia. The book I had chosen for this was In My Dreams I Hold the Knife by Ashley Winstead. I ended up DNFing this book pretty soon, only within the first couple of chapters. Reason being is there was content warning in the beginning of the book for sexual abuse, sexual stuff. I don't mind reading about books that have characters who have been sexually abused or who experience assault. I just don't like to read the assault on page. I don't like any sort of graphic sexual content, or explicit sexual content, whether that be trauma or whether that be romance. Not interested, don't want any of it. So I decided to go ahead and put that one aside. If any of you have read that book, could you tell me if it is graphic or not, or explicit? If it's not, I think I'll pick it up again. If it is, I'm just gonna go ahead and pass. So according to the rules of my game, a DNF still counts. So technically, if I just DNF'd it, I would still get to put this in my discard pile. But I went ahead and picked up another book that would fit this theme, and that was Very Bad People by Kit Frick. And I read this one. This is a Dark Academia, so it fits for the prompt. Yeah, if you guys want to know about my thoughts on any of these books, you're gonna have to wait for my September wrap up. So prompt 1, done. Prompt 2, which not only are we getting amazing Jurassic TBR cards, guys, it gave me a mood read. Come on, this is John Hammond. This one I do keep this in, even if I do complete this prompt, I keep it in my regular pile because I am such a mood reader that I just need a benefit every now and then. And so for that, I read Darkness Rising by Liz Wheel. And the other one I decided to add to this just for the heck of it for a mood read was The Lost World. So yeah, mood read, it was great. Completed it, boom. Moving right along. The last prompt that I drew was Claire Deering, and the prompt is to read a book with a female protagonist. I read The Haunting at Bon Adventure Circus. I couldn't say this word before I listened to the audiobook. Bon Adventure. Reading it, it's that's pretty obvious, but my brain don't always work in obvious ways. This is by Jamie Jo Wright, and I read this one and I finished it. So like I said, therefore I finished my game. So these 2 cards will be going into my discard pile. This one will be going back in, but not because I didn't finish it, just because I always like to keep a mood read available to me. So yeah, there we go. That was my September TBR, my September game completed. Awesome. Now, let's move on to October. Okay guys, like I said, October is the best month. October is spooky month. October is my birthday month. Wish list in the comments if anyone is interested. Shameless plug. Yeah, no, you guys don't have to get me anything for my birthday, but I know some people really like to. So if you're curious, wish list is down there. I also have a wish list for my dog. So if you'd rather get my dog something, that's fine too. Or if you don't want to get anything for either of us or cannot afford to, that's also fine. Just you watching this video is support enough for me. Anyways, let's talk about the game, right? Okay, so October, I am participating in a couple of readathons this month. It's gonna be a busy month. My goal though is to try and fit in, basically get books I pick to go for all of the readathons, right? So that they cross over, so I don't have a million books on my TBR. My Jurassic TBR is always a priority though. So no matter how many readathons I'm doing, Jurassic TBR books are always the books that I prioritize. So besides Jurassic TBR, I'm also doing the Journey Through the Bible readathon hosted by Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails. All these will be linked down below in the description. I'm also going to be doing the Stephen King clue-based readathon hosted by Jake from the Bookish drummer. The prompts are based on Stephen King, but the way the readathon is played like the game Clue or Cluedo if you're from the UK or like any other... Who all calls it Cluedo? Is it just America that calls it Clue? I don't know. Anyways, it's like my favorite game in the world, favorite board game. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I might be doing Becca's Spookoplathon. I haven't decided yet. So it could be a pretty busy month, but I'm hoping that I can, you know, get my prompts to line up. This video is just my Jurassic TBR. If you want to see my TBRs for my readathons, I will be posting a separate video probably for each readathon I'm doing, just to kind of spread out a little bit and not make these super long. So since last month was so kind to me, I'm a little concerned that this month is going to be a lot. I'm concerned it's going to be a lot. So let's keep our fingers crossed that this game is nice, considering it's my birthday and I really could use some good things. So let's go ahead and play the game and go for round number 1, or roll number 1. Okay, so as always, we are starting out with Dr. Ellie Sattler. Let's hope this game is as nice as last month. I have a 12-sided die. Let's go ahead and roll for roll number 1. Well, that didn't work. Let's roll for roll number 1. What do we get? We got 1, which is a Mr. TBR card. And we have readathon or free pick. Okay, well, first roll, we got a 1, not moving very far on the board. Doesn't mean it's gonna be a bad game or a long game, just means the first roll is a 1. And as you guys saw, that landed me on my Mr. TBR card, and this one is readathon or free pick, which just means if I take place in a readathon, one of my prompts, one of the books I choose for this game has to match a prompt from a readathon. If I'm not doing any readathons, it's just a free pick. Since, like I said, I'm doing a couple readathons this month, I chose a book that would fit both the Clue readathon, or the Stephen King readathon, and the Christian fiction readathon. And that book is The Curse of Misty Wayfair by Jamie Jo Wright. I'm so excited to get to this one. I've heard a lot of people say this is like a really good one of hers. I am catching up on her backlist because this girl has like a ton of books coming out. I know there's one due, or like going to release, I think this month in October, which I'm really excited for. But yeah, I've heard this one is one of her better ones, so I'm very excited to read this. Just so you all know what prompts this works for the Clue readathon, or the Stephen King Clue readathon. I don't know exactly what they're calling it, but that readathon, it works for prompt number 5, which is a book with a male or female name in the title, and Misty Wayfair is the name of the woman, and Misty is a female name. I actually know a lady named Misty. So that is a name. It works for this prompt. And then as far as the Christian fiction readathon, I'm using it for the very last prompt on that, which is how do you escape, pray, and Jesus will help you. And that is reader's choice. So it works for that one as well. I just went ahead and plopped this one in there so I can make sure it covers all my bases. This one, now Jamie Joy Wright always does, I always say questionably paranormal because there's usually something spooky going on and we don't know if it's ghosts, we don't know if it's a real haunting or if it's a person haunting. It's also a dual timeline, mystery and past, mystery and present, that they always somehow relate to each other. She's my favorite author, you guys. Like, it's great. Okay. This one is about a woman named Thea Reed who was left at an orphanage as a child. She vowed to find her mother someday. Now grown, her search takes her to a turn-of-the-century Pleasant Valley, Wisconsin, where the clues she finds lead her to a mental asylum. Thea uses her experience as a post-mortem photographer to gain access and assist groundkeeper Simon Coyle in photographing the patients, photographing the patients and overcoming the secrets within. However, she never expected her personal quest would reawaken the legend of Misty Wayfair, a murdered woman who allegedly haunts the area and whose appearance precedes death. So, yikes. The future timeline we have, a century later, Heidi Lang receives a troubling letter from her mother who is battling dementia, compelling her to travel to Pleasant Valley for answers to her own questions of identity. When she catches sight of a ghostly woman haunting the asylum ruins in the woods, the long-standing story of Misty Wayfair returns, and with it, Heidi's fear for her own life. As two women across time seek answers about their identities and heritage, they must overcome the threat of a mysterious curse that has them inexorably intertwined. Does that just not sound good? Like creepy asylum ghost? I have a feeling this is going to go into more talk of women in asylums back in the day where literally any man in your life could just be like, she's crazy, and you'd get put in an asylum. Scary, scary stuff. Yeah, and then the modern timeline, we have a dementia timeline. I just find it really interesting, and I'm curious to see how she tackles the topic in this book. But, I mean, look at that cover. Is that not the perfect spooky, ghosty cover for Halloween for October? So I'm so excited. Book one. Let's go on and go to roll number 2. Okay, roll number 2. We have 3. 1, 2, 3. That is owned TBR. Okay, roll number 2 landed me on owned TBR. I have a spreadsheet of every single book that I currently own that I have not read yet, at least my fiction. This is my fiction books. I have a spreadsheet. I usually go on my computer, do a random number generator, screenshot it, whatever for you, whatever. But I decided to do it on my phone because it's way easier. So here is the screenshot of it. You will see my random number generator, and then I don't remember the number that it picks. I'm so sorry, but it'll be here on the screen. And then hopefully you're seeing the book that it picks that correlates to that number. And as you guys have just seen, that is Inkheart. And this is by Cornelia Fum. I don't know how to pronounce this last name. This is, I guess, a like children's classic. Actually, it's funny. I just hauled this. Like, I haven't even done a haul video talking about this yet. I literally just hauled this in September. And then it was the book that it chose for me for my TBR. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I found this in a free little library near me and decided to pick it up because I've heard a lot of people talk about Inkheart. It's like a beloved children's classic. Never read it before. So here we go. I'm going to read it for the month of October. And this is a middle grade book. It says, one cruel night, Maggie's father reads aloud from Inkheart, and an evil ruler named Capricorn escapes the boundaries of the book, landing in their living room. Suddenly, Maggie's in the middle of the kind of adventure she thought only took place in fairy tales. Somehow, she must master the magic that has conjured up this nightmare. Can she change the course of the story that has changed her life forever? So kind of like storybook coming to life type of thing. It sounds very interesting. Oh, also it's translated from German by Athena Bell. So I'm excited to read it and see what all the hype is about on this book and see whether or not it's one that I like and if I will be continuing in the series or not. Okay, let's go to roll number 3. I'm gonna try rolling on the board now because this is kind of difficult rolling in the roll. What was this? Roll number 3. We have a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Fantasy. We got a 6. We're moving a little bit on to the board, and the footprint I landed on was yellow, which is fantasy. So for this prompt, I'm going to be choosing to read Broken Wings by Shannon Ditmore. This is the sequel, or I guess book 2. I don't remember the series name, but book 1 is Angel Eyes. It's a book I read last month. There will actually be a video coming out soon that I talk about this book in it. This is a YA Christian spiritual warfare type of book, and I loved the first book. Like, I really, really loved the first book, and I'm very excited to continue the series and read book 2. The series is about a girl who can basically see the spirit world. She can see angels, she can see demons, and there is a supernatural war that is going on that she ends up smack dab in the middle of. And it's just her wrestling with her faith. She's experienced some extreme trauma in her life, and so she moves back to her small town in Oregon. She actually was like going to boarding school in Portland, which is really cool because I live in Portland. So it was kind of fun to see the different things. Even though I believe the town in the book is made up, it's still very true. Like, the descriptions of the town and everything are very true to like small town Oregon. It's like Southern Oregon. So I had a blast with this book. She, you know, is struggling with her faith, and she meets this new boy, comes to town, and he's kind of a little bit, you know, interesting. And some supernatural stuff starts happening all around her. And yeah, something happens to open her eyes, basically give her angel eyes to be able to see the angels, to see the demons. It's such a good book. It's such a good book. Celestia recommended it. And so thank you, girl, for that recommendation. Because now I get to read book 2, Broken Wings, and I'm so excited. Okay, next roll. Roll 4. Roll 4 is a 10. Nice big number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thriller. 10. Moving along. Let's continue this like upward trajectory, right? As far as the numbers go. So landed on Black Footprint, which was a thriller. And I'm going to be reading In the Garden of Spite, and this is by Camilla Bruce. This is actually going to be a buddy read that I'm doing along with Nala from Here There Be Stories. We buddy read at least one book a month, and we kind of started doing that a few months ago. So yeah, this is the one that we decided to buddy read, and it works perfectly because it's also a thriller. This one is interesting. So this is about a woman. Okay, I'll just read you like the little blurby thing. An audacious novel of feminine rage and one of the most prolific female serial killers in American history, and the men who drove her to it. So this is about a woman, let's see, she is the widow of Laporte. This takes place in Indiana. This is based on a true story about America's first female serial killer, I believe. And it's just a fictionalized version, kind of a historical fiction, thriller, mystery type of book. Now, when I say thriller on my prompt, I'm including all things mystery, all things thriller, suspense. To me, they all are lumped in that thriller genre, or that whatever. That is how I classify it for my game. So this one definitely, this is a big book. So I'm definitely excited to read this along with Nala and kind of see what we think. Oh, there's a date in here. Looks like Chicago. So it looks like it takes place in the late 1800s, like the 1890s, possibly, is when this takes place. I do know a little bit. Okay, and then we have a 1903. So yeah, like late 1800s, early 1900s is when this takes place. I do know a little bit about this woman's story, the real life woman. Not a whole lot though, but I do know a little bit. So it'll be really interesting to read this book and get to know more about America's first female serial killer. Sounds fun, right? So yeah, this is the book I'm gonna be reading for my thriller prompt. Roll number 5. Roll number 5 is a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another Jurassic TBR card, or Mr. TBR card, I'm sorry. And Instagram pic. Okay, Okay, we are moving forward. We are moving forward. Got a 7. Now I just need to roll an exact number to escape. Will it happen? Fingers crossed. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. We shall see. But you guys saw I landed on a Mr. TBR card. And that, of course, was Instagram pick. This just means I just open Instagram, start scrolling, and as soon the first book I see that I want to read and is available to me via library or script or whatever is the book I'm going to choose for this prompt. And as you guys can see, I'll put a little screenshot here. It did not take me long at all to find the book that I am going to read for this month. As you hopefully see from the screenshot, the book that was chosen for me from Instagram is The Woman from Lydia. This is by Angela Hunt. I do believe this is a new release this year, and I am very, very excited for this book. This one will also go for the Journey Through the Bible-a-thon, because for that one I want to read all Christian fiction. You don't have to read any Christian fiction really to partake in that readathon, but like my personal choice is to read, for all the prompts I'm doing is to read Christian fiction. So anyways, this one will work for that as well, and I'm very excited. This is about, it's like historical fiction set in not biblical times, ancient times, like ancient Rome. This is after Jesus Christ has, I believe after he has been crucified, resurrected, and ascended to heaven. I'm pretty sure this is like in the time of the apostles after Jesus went to heaven. So it's about a woman who I don't know a whole lot. Like I can kind of think about it in my head from what I've heard about it, but I can't like tell you, like remember the synopsis. All I know is about a woman who ends up rescuing like a slave girl. I can't remember if she used to be a slave or used to be down on her luck, but she like tries to make life better for other women. I also believe that she is a person who creates garments, and she works with the color purple, which is a very coveted, purple is like very expensive for royalty type. So she's a very sought after seamstress or garment maker. And she ends up trying to rescue this slave girl, who also happens to be someone that Paul the Apostle liberated from demonic oppression, or from possession, really. She used to be a fortune teller, and he freed her. And so that story is biblical, and this is kind of like, that little bit is in the Bible, and this is like kind of following what happened after that. And I'm really, really excited for it. I've never read an Angela Hunt before, but I know she does a lot of biblical fiction and that kind of thing. So yay, I'm excited that this one was the first one. Like, it was like the first one I saw. So I'm like, yes, it works. I'm very excited to read it. Let's move on and hope that I can get the exact number. Let's hope. Okay, and now that I can officially escape with one roll of the dice, I have to get the exact number or go backwards that amount on the die. So I can escape in 7 moves. So I have to roll a 7 or go back to a number on the dice. Come on, lucky number 7s. No! It's a 10, guys. That means I have to go backwards 10. Of course, now I hit a big number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that sent me so far back. But we have a Jurassic TBR card. And we have Charlie, a book set in the Pacific Northwest. This is perfect for this month. Well, no. Not only did I not get the exact number, I got a 10, guys. A 10. That means I go back 10 spaces. That's so far. That is so far on the board. Oh, but from here on out, I roll till I win, so. Okay, let's just talk about what I landed on. And as you guys saw, I landed on Jurassic TBR card. And this one is like perfect for this time of year. I was so excited when I got this. This is Charlie, read a book set in the Pacific Northwest. Now, I knew the second I got this, I knew exactly which book I was gonna pick. And that's The Oath by Frank Peretti. Now, I have already read this book. This will be a reread for me, but I have not read this book since I was in high school, which was a very long time ago, you guys. As I said, October, my birthday month, I'll be turning 35 years old. I don't want to talk about it, but I'll be 35. So I probably have not read this book in like 15 years, okay? It's been a long time. I remember absolutely loving this book when I read it, but I really need to reread it. And I just, it's a monster. It's a 600, it's like 550 pages. At the time I read this when I was in high school, this was the biggest book I had ever read in my life. So I'm excited to get back into it, reread it. This takes place in Washington State in the Pacific Northwest, in a creepy little town in the woods. The atmosphere in this book is on point. Like, he does atmosphere like no one else I know. It is an ancient sin, an ancient oath, a town with a deadly secret. Something sinister is at work in Hyde River, an isolated mining town in the mountains of the Pacific Northwest. Something evil. Under the cover of darkness, it strikes without warning, taking life in the most chilling fashion. The latest victim, nature photographer Cliff Benson, was brutally killed while camping in the mountains. With little hard evidence to go on, Sheriff Les Collins closes the case, chalking it up to the work of a rogue bear, just like so many other unsolved deaths and disappearances that have plagued Hyde River over the years. But wildlife biologist Steve Benson refuses to let his brother's death remain a mystery. He is joined in his investigation by attractive auburn-haired Sheriff Deputy Tracy Ellis, who, having grown up in Hyde River, has seen enough swept under the rug by local law enforcement to know that something's amiss. The more the townfolk are pressed for information, the more they close ranks as if sworn to secrecy. As Steve peels away the layers of mystery surrounding Hyde River, he and Tracy are drawn closer to each other into the town's terrible secret. What they discover is a predator more terrifying than anything they had imagined, and a town in the grip of unspeakable evil. It's so good. It's a little bit like a spiritual warfare in a way. I mean, there's like good versus evil. There is something in the woods that is quite evil, that's killing people. Oh my gosh. This book is so good. Like, I am so excited. I am so excited to reread this, get back into the story and see if it holds up. I'm pretty sure it will, but to see if I love it just as much as I did the first time. So that's what I'm going to be reading for Pacific Northwest. I don't even remember what roll we're on at this point, guys, so I'm just gonna keep going. But at this point, I can escape no matter what. I don't have to get the exact number. 2. 1, 2. This game is making up for last month, okay? Green, which is a Mr. TBR card. Oh gosh. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Most recent hauled. Because this one has a picture on it, that means I have to roll or pick 2 books. I had to pick 2 books for this one prompt. I think this game is making up for last month, right? Because not only do I only move 2 spaces and get a Mr. TBR card, I have to get a gosh darn one that requires 2 books for one prompt. This is Welcome to Jurassic Park. And it's most recent hauled, and because it has the picture on it, that means I have to read 2 books for this one prompt. I'm like, really, game? Okay, yeah, you were nice to me last month. This month, you're not holding any punches back. So the last 2 books I received actually are both Owl Crate books, which is pretty fun and interesting. So you guys are going to be getting a sneak peek of videos that will be coming very soon. The most recent hauled book, like the very last book that entered my home, is After the Forest by Kel Woods. You guys, this cover I think is one of the most gorgeous covers they have ever done ever. Like, it is so pretty. This is their adult fantasy from their adult fantasy box. So I'm really excited for this one. It's got these really cool orange sprayed edges. Like, how perfect is that for fall? I'm not gonna show you all the specialties on this. You'll have to wait for my haul video for that. But this one is a story about Hansel and Gretel, or Hansel and Gretel after the story. Like, when it ended. 20 years after The Witch in the Gingerbread House, Greta and Hans are struggling to get by. And Greta has a secret, the witch's grimoire, hidden away and whispering in Greta's ears for the past 2 decades, and a recipe inside that makes the best gingerbread you've ever tasted. As long as she can bake, Greta can keep her small family afloat. But then superstitious town and things start happening. It just sounds really, really good. I am so excited for this book, and it's so pretty. Like, I'm normally not I normally don't read witchy books. I'm kind of stay away from witchcraft type of stuff. But I do make exceptions every now and then. This is one of them. Obviously, we'll see when I read it whether or not I am okay with it or not. But it sounds great. I mean, it's like Hansel and Gretel, but like the aftermath 20 years later. So yeah, and it's so pretty. So that was the very last book I hauled, and the second to last book I hauled, the one I hauled right before that one, A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid. Look at this. Like, it's so pretty. This one was the Owl Crate for their YA box. It's about a girl named Effie who has always been haunted by visions of the Fairy King. She's found solace only in the pages of Angahard, which is a beloved epic about a mortal girl who falls in love with the Fairy King and then destroys him. Then there's like this the author's family announces a contest to redesign the late author's estate, and Effie is certain this is her destiny. But then there is another boy. This is like one, I think they're in high school at this point. Yeah, they're in a architecture college. So then there's her and this other boy, other student go there, and they have to redesign this author's mansion, and mysteries and things happen. Of course, you're probably gonna have a little bit of a love story because it's a YA fantasy. And it sounds like there's a lot of clues and mysteries and something that is going on in the creepy old house they have to design. And it's almost giving me dark academia, maybe light academia. It's giving me academia. But I'm excited. You guys will see me unboxing this in my September Owl Crate, which should hopefully be coming out fairly soon. Let's hope. So again, these are the 2 books that I will be reading for most recent hauls. All right, I guess it's gonna be a long month. Y'all know that's just how the game plays. All right, let's go. Big number. Woo! And that's a 10. That's a 10. Well, you can see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thriller. We're so close. We're so close to the end. I just need a 5. Come on, game. A 5 or higher, and we're out of here. Oh yeah, baby. Look at that. Look at that. That's a 9. Boo! We have officially escaped Jurassic TBR, and we made it out, guys. We made it out finally. Thank goodness. Thank goodness I rolled a big number before we got out. So the last footprint I landed on, as you guys saw before we escaped Jurassic TBR, was Thriller. So the book I'm choosing to read for that is A Single Light by Tosca Lee. This is the follow-up, the sequel to what is it called? Completely. The Line Between. Yeah, it's the sequel to The Line Between. This was actually gifted to me by the beautiful Chrissy from Chrissy's Purple Library. And it was a gift for reaching 200 subscribers. And I now have 250, so I'm really excited. But yeah, this is the sequel to that. This is like a dystopian world in book 1. There's this woman who escapes a doomsday cult, only to find out that this doomsday cult was actually correct and doomsday is upon us. And so it's all about her trying to assimilate back into the real world, all while there is this disease that's happening. And what this disease is it basically causes early onset dementia. And people are in like rapid dementia. So people are starting to lose their memories, lose their mind, get dementia, fall ill, die because dementia. Interesting. I'm reading 2 books like that this month. Anyways, yeah, the first book was really good. And this, of course, is a sequel, takes place after the events of the first one. I think it's 6 months. Yeah, 6 months after the events of the first book. And she, the main character, thinks she knows about the antidote to this disease. And so she's trying to find it and get it because her friend contracted it. And yeah, and you also are dealing with the fact that she was in a cult and all the ramifications of that, trying to, like I said, assimilate into everyday life after escaping this place that she's been for most of her life. It's really, really good. So yeah, book 2. I'm very, very excited to get to this one. So here we have it. Here is the TBR for the month. Plus 2 that I don't have physically. So we have Inkheart for owned TBR. We have The Curse of Misty Wayfair for readathon pick. We have In the Garden of Spite for thriller, The Oath for Pacific Northwest, After the Forest and The Study in Drowning for most recent hauled, A Single Light for thriller. I also have Broken Wings for fantasy, and The Woman from Lydia for Instagram scrolling. So that's it. This is the TBR. I have 9 books this month, so it's not terrible. It's definitely doable. Yeah, I think it did me well. We definitely have a good mixture of some spooky and then just some lighthearted fantasy here with Inkheart. So I'm very, very excited for this month's TBR. I think the game, even though it was a little bit rough on me this month, I think I was able to pick out some really good books, hopefully some winners. So thank you guys so much for watching my game. Like I said in the beginning, if you guys would like to go either see more about how the rules of my game or just watch previous episodes, I will link it above. You guys are more than welcome to go check out my playlist. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books, if you plan on reading any of them, if any of them sound interesting, all of your thoughts about books. Tell me down in the comments below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, if you would like to. And I will hopefully see you in my next video. Bye guys!